Good morning. I wasn't sure if I could share my screen after I started, so I started with a shared screen. And I can't see where to change that. So we're gonna just stick with the screen share. Um, I am so glad to be here today. Excuse my morning voice. I don't know what's going on, but today we're gonna go over some mindset shifts to overcome limiting beliefs and level up. So, um, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Sheena. I am the owner and of Strength Unleashed. I started with a degree in business. I really have struggled to figure out what it was I wanted to do in life. I have many certifications in health, fitness, nutrition, foot zoning. I've worn many hats, but in 2016, I really found my true passion for fitness, nutrition, and life coaching and speaking. And watching somebody transform is one of my greatest things. It's the best part of my job. And I'm not big on before and after pictures because so much of that can be faked. But the transformation of watching somebody change their confidence and the interchange that comes with that transformation is the most beautiful thing, and I'm so lucky to get to be a part of it. Um, I am a life coach, fitness trainer, and nutritionist, and I want to help people break free from their limiting beliefs so that they can crush their goals with confidence. So think of me as like a cheerleader with a little bit of a tough love twist. I will challenge you, I will cheer for you, and maybe even make you laugh through the process. Whether it's building strength, creating balance, or unlocking your best mindset, I am here to help you level up in every area of life. So, today I want to talk. Our body will not go where our mind doesn't take it. And so, I want to talk about identifying limiting beliefs that are holding you back, learning actionable shifts to reframe these beliefs, and then create practical steps to apply these shifts so that you can level up your life. But before we begin, I want to do just a moment of grounding. So I'm going to explain what we're going to do, and then I will walk you through it as we go. So sit comfortably, feet flat, hands in your lap, and you're going to breathe in for 4 counts. You're going to hold that breath for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 counts, and then hold for 4 counts. We're going to do 3 cycles of this, and I want you, as you're breathing out, to focus on releasing tension in the body. So, here we go. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, breathe, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Great job. That is called box breathing, and it is an amazing exercise for just getting centered, getting grounded. It's also wonderful if you're having some anxiety. So keep that in your toolbox. That's one you can do really quickly. Okay, the power of our mindset. Our mindset is the foundation of how we view the world and ourselves. It shapes how we see things, what we believe, and that directly influences the actions that we take, which influences those outcomes and determines where we end up. So beliefs shape actions. Um, oh, sorry, we went the wrong way. Our beliefs act as filters, determining how we interpret different situations and deciding what's possible. If you've ever been in a situation with somebody else and you both have very different views of how that event went down, it's because of our own experiences and beliefs about different things. And so if we believe we're capable of achieving something, we are much more likely to get there. If you've heard the quote, you believe you can, you believe you can't. Either way, you're right. Um, so if we're in the belief that we can accomplish something, we are much more likely to take that consistent, bold action towards it. And on the flip side, if we're holding on to those limiting beliefs, they can create enough self doubt and hesitation and fear of failure that hinder our progress. So, a few examples of limiting beliefs is I'm too old. I'm too old to start this. I'm too old for this. I'm not a morning person. This is one I hear a lot. I don't have enough time. Um, I'll fail if I try. And um, or another, I'm not good at public speaking. They might avoid opportunities to practice that, reinforcing that fear. Every time we avoid what it is that we're doubtful of, it just amplifies that and reinforces it. Um, Whereas if we can come at it with, I can improve with practice, it's more likely that we're going to step out of our comfort zone and ultimately become a better speaker. Um, the belief that maybe we're too old, it oftentimes holds us back from pursuing new careers, hobbies, fitness goals. And in reality, growth can happen at any age. And an example of this, my grandma a couple years ago suffered from some health issues and ended up having to do physical therapy. And the strength and balance that she gained, she was almost 90. And the strength and balance that she gained while she was doing that she was 89, was visible to all of us. So we really are never too old. Oftentimes, I think even in business, we think, "Oh, I'm too old to start this," but a lot of very successful business people started later on in life. A couple of examples: J.K. Rowling and Oprah both started much later in life. Um, the the I don't have enough time oftentimes prevents people from prioritizing what truly matters to them. Um, when we shift that mindset and just recognize that our time can be managed to align with those values and goals. Um, Oftentimes for me, it's about recognizing how much time I'm wasting or putting into things that aren't actually taking me towards my goals, or aren't part of something that really does truly matter to me. Um, so mindset shift number one, we need to reframe failure. My boys, all of my boys wrestle, and we had wrestling's a really tough sport. And one of my boys was we had a new friend that was learning how to wrestle, and I said, buddy, remember when you first started and how hard this was? What's one piece of advice that you would give somebody to that's just starting out? And he was so cute. He said, well, when you win, you know you did good, and when you don't win, you get to learn. And I thought that was cute. They have some amazing coaches in their life that are teaching them these mindset things that are very important in all ages and stages of life. So rather than thinking of a failure as a loss or I failed, it you win or you learn. Um, and many people see a failure as a reflection of their worth or their ability, and then that leads us to avoid those things that hold us back. But if all of us in here are business owners, we know that failure is not the end. I don't know how many times I've had things that just didn't quite work out, and we come back to the drawing board and refigure it. Um, we just have to shift how we perceive that failure, and that can unlock resilience, creativity, and growth. Um, Make sure that you're celebrating your progress and your steps forward and avoid the comparison trap. Your journey is your journey. So, failure equals feedback, and it requires us to take risks. In one of my recent masterminds, one of the gals, I was asking for some help with something, and one of the gals told me, do it afraid. Because I'm like, oh, that's very scary for me. And she said, okay, do it afraid. And I'm like, man, that's, yes, yeah, do it afraid. Do the thing that's scary, even if it scares you. I want you to take a moment and just reflect on a failure that you've had and identify a few lessons that you took away from that failure. Um, One of mine that I'll share is I I ran a marathon and I really wanted to do an ultra marathon, and so we started training for it. And about partway through, I started to have some hormonal problems. My thyroid was kind of freaking out, which our thyroid controls our heart rate, and so my heart rate would spike really bad. And we had worked ourselves up to about 22 miles, and um, my husband and I were doing this together, and I just started having all kinds of problems. So I finally went in and got checked out, and they told me, you know, you need to stop running for a bit. And it was devastating to me to have put in hours upon hours upon hours of training to be told that I need to stop. But what I did learn from that is that my approach needed to change. Just going out and running and increasing my mileage a little bit at a time, like I did for my marathon, isn't the same approach that I need to take for an ultra marathon. It's a little more in depth. There's a little more to it, and so if you'll share in the comments a lesson that you've learned from a recent failure, I would love to hear it. Thomas Edison said, "I've not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." And if you've followed Edison at all, he has had multiple failures, and you hear about all kinds of failures that have gone on. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school team. He could have looked at that failure and been like, "Oh, I can't do this," but he didn't. He kept going. Um, so every single successful person has failed often and repeatedly. That is how they got to success. Um, each failure provides valuable feedback and insights for us to improve for future endeavors. And failure is temporary, it's a moment, it's not a permanent label. And growth comes when we step outside of our comfort zone, which inevitably includes stumbles. And I was teaching another workshop earlier this week, and we were talking about stepping outside your comfort zone. And I often use this analogy with people. If I asked you to go for a 5 minute run or a maybe a mile run, you would definitely see that as uncomfortable, but most likely doable. However, if I asked you to go run a marathon right now, most of you would tell me that that's a really bad idea, because it is. And it's the same in our businesses. Like, we can have those dreams, and with any goals, really. We can have those dreams, those big goals that we're definitely chasing, but you don't skip the steps on the, let's see, It was this slide with the steps on the ladder. You don't skip the steps. You take the little steps, and they take you little by little to the next thing. Because when we get so far out of our comfort zone, it might seem exciting at first, but then it really is hard and overwhelming. And so make sure you're making those tiny steps so that you can go forward. Um, and failure is just a natural and necessary part of the journey to success in any endeavor. By reframing failure as an opportunity for growth, you can turn those setbacks into setups for future achievement. Um, mindset shift number 2: cultivate self worth. A belief to overcome is imposter syndrome. Most of us struggle with imposter syndrome, and it creates the false belief that success is due to luck or that you don't deserve your achievements, and it undermines our confidence and creates self doubt, even in capable, high achieving individuals. So, by addressing this mindset, we can genuinely build self worth and trust in our own abilities. Um, a few techniques to build confidence and self compassion. Reflect, acknowledge your achievements. So, this is something I work with on all of my clients because a lot of times we're working towards a big weight loss goal or a big, like maybe a running goal or a certain weightlifting goal, and it's big and scary. And so, if the only time we celebrated was when we hit that big goal, we would take a long time before we celebrated, and it's discouraging to go a long time without that. And so reflect on those accomplishments that you are achieving. um, I I've had a client where we were struggling so much with recognizing any level of that every day I was like, "Okay, what was your win today? Tell me your win for the day." Because every single day you are taking steps towards those goals that you're working on, and recognizing those wins and honoring yourself with those wins is huge. Success rarely happens by accident. It's a result from effort, skill, and persistence. And so we need that boost. Motivation is a fleeting feeling, and the way to stay motivated is by taking action and recognizing yourself for the actions that you're taking. Um, Reframe negative self-talk. Replace thoughts like "I don't belong here" with "I worked really hard to earn this opportunity." Challenge those feelings with evidence of your capabilities. And we have a really cool thing in our brain called the RAS. And uh, basically, what it does is when we tell ourselves something, it goes and finds proof that that is true. And so, like, for example, some of you see hearts in nature or smiley faces in nature, and because you think about that when you're, "Oh, hey, there's a heart," you're looking, your little secretary is what I call it, is looking for those things. But it's true with anything that you tell yourself. So if you tell yourself, "Oh, I always find hearts in nature," your brain is going to work really hard to do that for you. If you tell yourself, "I'm a bad mom" or "I'm a bad dad," your brain is going to find proof of that. This little secretary goes to work hard and is like, "Oh yeah, remember when you did that? Remember when you screwed up here?" So the things that we tell ourselves matter because that secretary is going to go to work and find proof of that for you to help build your case. And so that self-talk really does matter. Um, and when you catch yourself saying something negative, just reframe it and keep going. And that the more you do that, the more that little secretary is going to go to work for you and find proof of whatever it is you're telling yourself. Um, Practice self compassion. This was a hard one for me for a long time because I felt like self-compassion was letting myself off the hook. And finding the difference between self-compassion and complacency was hard for me, and it took me a long time to fully understand. But being kind when you face challenges and accepting that mistakes are part of learning and growth and they're not proof of inadequacy is more what we're going for with compassion. Not I don't really feel like it today, oh that's okay, you can take the day off. It's a true, like, okay, this was my goal today and I'm going to take one step. I feel overwhelmed right now. I think most of us are feeling that with the holidays. I feel overwhelmed, so I'm going to do one thing today to move myself forward, and that is acceptable. That is okay. Um, and then use affirmations. So I have an activity on here: write a personal affirmation to counter imposter syndrome. And one when we use affirmations, it rewires those negative thought patterns to reinforce that confidence. But it has to be something that resonates with you. It has to be something that you believe. You can't say things that you don't resonate with, because your body knows, your brain knows. And so one of my favorites that is very simple: you are enough just as you are. Another one that I came up with this morning was a I am worthy of my success, and my hard work has brought me here. I trust in my abilities, and I embrace my accomplishments with confidence. I am constantly growing and learning, and I have everything I need to continue thriving. But I want you to think of something that resonates deeply with you, that you can believe, and put it somewhere where you're going to see it often. I like to put a few of my affirmations in my screensaver on my phone, or my closed screen. I don't know what it's called, but so that I get to see that throughout the day. And mine change. I have it so that it rotates, and so sometimes it's pictures of my kids, but about every other or every third, I get an affirmation of some sort, and it does bring light to my day, and it is reinforcing things that I'm trying to work towards. Another place to put it is in the car. Most of us are in the car at least twice a day, so put it somewhere in the car that you're gonna see it and read it. Bathroom mirror is a huge one. Mine, I have several listed up my bathroom mirror. And then if you're feeling brave, go ahead and share in the comments your affirmation that you came up with. Okay. Mindset shift number 3: embrace growth. And having a growth mindset, oh, I forgot to change my little picture here at the bottom. You don't need a pen and paper unless you want to write down your action plan. Um, so we want to embrace growth. Having a growth mindset is huge in making progress forward. So, a belief to overcome is fear of change or uncertainty. And fear of change often stems from this desire to feel safe or feel in control. And control's an illusion, truly. There's very little we have control over other than how we react to certain situations. However, staying in our comfort zone limits our growth and keeps us from reaching our full potential. So, by embracing the change, we open the door to new opportunities, skills, and successes. And the benefit of stepping out of those comfort zones, growth requires us to get uncomfortable. I I have never worked with anybody where we didn't have to get a little bit uncomfortable. And just like in what I said previously, you don't want to jump from being in your comfort zone to a marathon, but you need to be a little bit uncomfortable. Just like muscles grow through resistance training, personal growth happens when we push and challenge ourselves. Opportunities live outside of our comfort zones. So when we remain stagnant, it absolutely ensures that we will be limited in our potential. Growth comes from trying new things, even when it's uncomfortable. Actually, this has been something that has come up recently in my life, and I, I mean, I hate to bring up politics because it's such a tender topic, but I have a really good friend who believes very politically opposite of what I do, and we have some of the best conversations and learn so much from each other because we're willing to get a little bit uncomfortable and in a respectful way. We do have conversations that do get really uncomfortable sometimes, but it's important for both of us because we're both growing and we're both learning. um and then resilience comes through uncertainty. Facing challenge builds adaptability, helping you handle future challenges with greater ease. So, just like we're building those muscles, every time we do the hard thing, we build that level of resilience. And it gets easier and easier and easier to push outside that comfort zone and do hard things. A few years ago, I participated in the 75 Hard Challenge. And for those of you, I know Lindsay has her own 75 Hard Challenge, which I've also participated in. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with the 75 Hard, it's a challenge from Andy Frisella. And if you miss a day, you start over, and each day you have to take progress pictures, follow a nutrition plan of some sort. Um, you can't have any sugar, you can't have any alcohol. You do two 45-minute workouts, and one of them has to be outside. You drink a gallon of water, and you read 10 pages of a book. And any one of those things on its own isn't terrible. But putting them all together requires you to really be mindful of your time and aware of what you're doing, and requires a lot of structure. And I participated in that, and it was pretty hard at first, and it progressively got easier, but there were definite like days where it was like, oh, this is so hard, like why am I doing this? But as I built that resilience, they have like a phase 2 that you do after you do this. And in phase 2, you add a cold shower and daily visualization, and I think there was something else. And doing the hard things from the first round made the hard things from the next round feel more doable, because I already did all of these hard things and I did them for 75 days. I can do this next piece. So it does help our brains to really build that resilience of I can do this. So what I want to do is identify an area for growth. Think of an area in your life where you feel stuck or hesitant to take action. It can be career, health, relationships. And I want you to take a moment and reflect on what is holding you back. Is it a fear of failure? Is it judgment? Is it uncertainty? And then I want you to think about one small, immediate step that you can take today or sometime this week that's going to step you outside of that comfort zone in this area. Examples: if you're working on career, it might be networking, reaching out to a new contact, or going to a networking meeting. If it's health related, maybe it's trying a workout. Maybe it's getting yourself to the gym. I know right now the gyms are a little sparse because it's the crazy of the holiday season. And in about a week and a half, you're going to see the gyms fill up. But try something challenging. Try maybe a push-up challenge. How many push-ups can you do in a minute? I mean, it doesn't have to be, I think we get stuck in our heads with a lot of things that certain things have to look a certain way. If it's personal growth, maybe commit to a daily gratitude journal. And then feel free to share in the comments what your one tiny action step is. Or I want you to reach out to somebody and say, hey, I'm working on this goal and I need an accountability buddy. I just want you to check in with me next week and make sure I did this. And if you don't have somebody you feel like you can do that with, message me. I will be your accountability buddy today. Growth starts when you embrace discomfort and take action, even when the path feels uncertain. And by stepping outside of that comfort zone with small, intentional steps, you're going to build confidence, adaptability, and momentum towards a leveled up life. Thank you so much for letting me be here. Remember that big changes are built on small wins. So start where you are and grow from there, one baby step at a time. Lastly, I would love to know if you will leave me a comment with your top 1 to 3 takeaways from this. And then I have partnered with Lindsay today and we are doing a giveaway, and I'm giving away 2 months of my one-on-one coaching. So you need to go to Instagram to enter, and it's on Lindsay's page. I believe it's on her Curated Utah page, but I'm gonna double check. Yes, it's on Curated Utah. So you can go there, or you can go to my page, which is Strength Unleashed with Sheena, and enter there. A few events to stay tuned for. January 2nd, I'm kicking off the new year with a virtual workshop called Setting Strong Foundations, and then a 4-week challenge that goes along with that. And this is going to be health related, so we're going to build a strong foundation of just mastering our basics in our health and wellness. So if you're interested in that, please reach out. I am participating with a friend in her Zen Night Out, which is in Layton in January. This is an in-person event. If you're interested in that, I can get you details on how to get signed up. And then follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Reach out if you're looking for coaching. If you sign up this week for either of my coaching options, I will give you a half price discount for your first month. So just mention that you were in Lindsay's group, and I will make sure that you get that first month discount. And then if you have questions, comment and leave them. I think I can see the comments, so and if there are no questions yet, if you watch this on the replay, go ahead and leave your questions, tag me, and I will make sure and come back and answer those. Thank you again so much for letting me be here today, and I will see you soon.